Hello everyone, hope you all are good in this crisis. Now coming to our academic part, many notes you have got from the other subjects, uh, and I think you are doing your part, that is study in this quarantine. Now coming to biochemistry subject, uh, in that we have seen earlier first unit that biomolecules and bioenergetics in biomolecules types classification and biological significance of biomolecules. In bioenergetics we seen concept of free energy, endogenic reaction, what are exogenic reaction, difference between those, relations between free energy, enthalpy and entropy, energy rich compounds, types of energy rich compounds, and structure of ATP and cyclic AMP. Okay, this is about the first unit. Now coming to last unit, that is the enzyme taken by Sir Anand sir. That notes also given to you in enzymes. I think classification, then factors affecting enzyme kinetics, that is Michael-Menden's equation. Then one more thing, inhibition of enzymes, that is three types: allosteric, competitive, non-competitive, and allosteric. In that again, reversible, irreversible enzyme. All those things I think you have studied. Okay. Then coming to second unit, that is carbohydrate metabolism. In regular classes we have seen two cycles, that is glycolysis and citric acid cycle. Okay, in glycolysis we have seen that conversion of glucose to pyruvate and energetics, that is 8 molecules of ATP will be produced in glycolysis, whereas in citric acid cycle we have seen that pyruvate from glycolysis will be converted to acetyl CoA. That acetyl CoA will react with the oxaloacetate to form the citrate. Again that cycle will be continued to form oxaloacetate. That oxaloacetate again will react with the acetate, so that cycle will be recirculate. Okay, that part we have seen. And again we have seen that energetics about the citric acid cycle. Total 38 molecules of ATP will be produced in that. Okay, now next coming to third cycle is HMP pathway. We have to see here HMP pathway and its significance. Now coming to, before starting HMP pathway, again I want to give a little bit idea about the carbohydrate. Carbohydrates are the polyhydroxy, ketone or aldehyde as per the definition. Polyhydroxy means number of hydroxyl group will be present. Then ketone or aldehyde means either ketone group or aldehyde group will be present. Again carbohydrate will be divided into three types: monosaccharide, disaccharide, polysaccharide. Monosaccharide, oligosaccharide, polysaccharide. Monosaccharide contains single sugar molecule, whereas oligosaccharide contains 2 to 10 molecule, whereas polysaccharide contains more than 10. Again poly will be converted divided into homosaccharide, heterosaccharide. Okay, now coming to monosaccharide, based on the number of carbon atom. Again monosaccharides subdivided into triose, tetrose, pentose, hexoses, heptoses. Okay, and these based on the functional group present. Suppose aldehyde contains means aldose, ketone contains means ketones. Again they will be subdivided. So if suppose a triose monosaccharide is there, its name will be, if suppose it contains aldehyde group, its name will be glyceraldehyde, and if it contains ketone group, it is dihydroxyacetone. Similarly, 4 carbon atom erythrolose, 5 carbon atom ribulose, 6 carbon atom glucose. Aldehyde group present in glucose, whereas in fructose ketone group will be present. These two are 6 carbon. In 7 carbon glucoheptose, pseudoheptulose. Okay, now why this is important? Because glyceraldehyde, erythrose, ribose, ribulose, glucose, fructose, pseudoheptulose, all these will comes under hexose HMP pathway. Okay, all these whatever are there. Now erythrodes means 4 carbon atom aldehyde group monosaccharide, that you have to be, that should be in your mind. Ribulose बोला तो 5 carbon atom containing ketone group. Okay, glucose 6 carbon atom aldehyde group, fructose 6 carbon atom ketone group, pseudoheptulose 7 carbon atom ketone group. Okay, ये थोड़ा मालूम रहना चाहिए HMP pathway, otherwise it will be simple pathway. Okay, let's start with that. Now HMP pathway, HMP shunt, HMP, that is hexose monophosphate shunt. HMP shunt is also known as pentose phosphate pathway, PPP, or phosphogluconate pathway. Okay, this is the alternative pathway for the oxidation of glucose through glycolysis or TCA. So this pathway is the alternative pathway for glycolysis and TCA. Next point is, it is more anabolic in nature than catabolic. Now you know what is anabolism and what is catabolism. More anabolic means more number of larger molecule will be produced from the smaller molecule here. Rather catabolic means conversion of larger molecule into smaller. We have seen in glycolysis is more catabolic in nature, whereas HMP is more anabolic in nature. Its main role in biosynthesis, its main role in biosynthesis of NADPH and pentoses. That's why it is anabolic in nature. Its main role is in biosynthesis of NADPH and pentoses. Now location of HMP pathway, enzyme responsible for HMP shunt are present in cytosol. Now the tissues such as liver, adipose tissue, adrenal gland, erythrocyte, testes, and lactating mammary gland more active for the HMP shunt. We have seen that glycolysis, enzyme responsible for glycolysis, were present in cytosol of all the living cells except some, whereas TCA cycle, the enzymes present in mitochondria. Here HMP shunt pathway enzymes will be present in some of the tissues such as liver, adipose tissue, adrenal gland, erythrocyte, testes, and lactating mammary gland, and that also in cytosol. Okay, this pathway starts with glucose 6-phosphate. This is also important. This pathway starts with glucose 6-phosphate. It is unique pathway since no ATP is directly utilized or produced. This is a pathway where no ATP will be produced or utilized, whereas in glycolysis we have seen that totally 8 number of ATP produced. In TCA cycle, total 38 number of ATP produced. Now coming to reaction part, the pentose phosphate pathway PPP divided into 2 phases. One is oxidative phase, second one is non-oxidative phase. In oxidative phase, each molecule of glucose 6-phosphate oxidized to ribulose 5-phosphate, means glucose 6-phosphate converted to ribulose 5-phosphate, and it generates NADPH and CO2. In second non-oxidative pathway, these are concerned with interconversion of 3, 4, 5, and 7 carbon monosaccharides. Means here in second phase what will happen, there will be interconversion of ribulose 5-phosphate, whatever formed in oxidative pathway, oxidative phase, conversion of that ribulose 5-phosphate into 3, 4, 5, and 7 carbon atom monosaccharides. That we will see in next step by step. Okay, now yes, coming to the steps of the coming to the steps of the oxidative phase. First step is glucose 6-phosphate is converted into 6-phosphogluconolactone in the presence of glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase enzyme and NADPase coenzyme. In this, C1 group is dehydrogenated and it forms lactone with C5. You can see glucose 6-phosphate is converted to 6-phosphogluconolactone in the presence of enzyme glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase. Here NADP is converted to NADPH. Okay, here there will be a linkage of lactone ring will form between first carbon atom and the fifth carbon atom. Okay, you can see this lactone ring will be formed. This is called as 6-phosphogluconolactone. Okay, next 6-phosphogluconolactone hydrolyzed by the gluconolactone hydrolase enzyme into 6-phosphogluconate. Now second step is 6-phosphogluconolactone is 6-phosphogluconolactone is converted to 6-phosphogluconate with the help of enzyme gluconolactone hydrolase. Okay, here hydrolysis of 6-phosphogluconolactone will be happened to form 6-phosphogluconate. Okay, now third step is 6-phosphogluconate is converted to ribulose 5-phosphate by eliminating carbon dioxide from C1 in the presence of phosphogluconate dehydrogenase enzyme. You can see. Now you can see from first carbon this CO2 will be removed and NADP converted to NADPH. From third carbon atom H molecule, 2 hydrogen molecule will be also removed so that it will be converted to keto group to form the ribulose 5-phosphate. Now this is 6 carbon atom, this is 5 carbon atom moiety. Okay, ribulose 5-phosphate containing ketone group. Okay, this now step 1, 2 and 3, it is the oxidative pathway. Here hydrogen atom is removed in 2 steps, on first step and third step. Thus it is called as oxidative pathway. You know that removing of hydrogen is oxidation, whereas addition of hydrogen is reduction. Okay, now coming to non-oxidative phase. This phase includes series of reversible reaction. Okay, now step 4 is, I will directly go to cycle there. In step 4, what will happen? Ribulose 5-phosphate will be epimerized with the help of enzyme ribulose 5-phosphate epimerase into xylulose 5-phosphate. Also, it will be undergo keto isomerization. In that, ribose 5-phosphate keto isomerase convert ribulose 5-phosphate into ribose 5-phosphate. Okay, one undergo epimerization, another undergo isomerization. Okay, epimerization means only you can see here both OH group at the one side in ribulose 5-phosphate, whereas in xylulose 5-phosphate one OH group on the left side, one OH group on the right side. That is the difference. Whereas when isomerization will happen, that ketone group will be converted to aldehyde group. So this is a ribose 5-phosphate. Already I have told that ribulose 5-phosphate contains the ketone group, whereas ribose 5-phosphate contains the aldehyde group. Okay, so as per HMP pathway, it is an important pathway for production of NADPH. Already we have seen in oxidative phase that two NADPH molecules are produced. Again here ribose 5-phosphate also will be produced. This is the most important point in this HMP path, because ribose 5-phosphate is involved in synthesis of nucleotides like RNA, DNA. Okay, but this cycle will not stop here. Again there will be next step, that is transketolization. Next step, step 5, is called as transketolization. uh, it involves the enzyme transketolase and TPP as a coenzyme. TPP is a thiamine pyrophosphate. Okay, here what will happen, two carbon moiety from xylulose 5-phosphate will transfer to ribose 5-phosphate. Listen, two carbon moiety, first two carbon moiety will transfer to ribose 5-phosphate. Now ribose 5-phosphate is 5 molecules, 5 carbon molecules. From here 2 will transfer, so it will form 7 carbon uh, monosaccharide, that is pseudoheptalose 7-phosphate. You can see 7, 2 carbon moiety transferred to ribose. Okay, now this ribose 5-phosphate will be converted to glyceraldehyde. So sorry, this one xylulose will be converted into glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. Okay, because 2 will be transferred here, 3 will be remain, that 3 will be converted to glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. This will be carried out through transketolase enzyme. Now step 6 is transaldolase. In transaldolase what will happen, um, again two molecules, sorry, 3 carbon moiety from pseudoheptalose 7-phosphate. These 3 carbon moiety transfer from pseudoheptalose 7-phosphate to glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. Okay, so it will forms fructose 6-phosphate. You can see these 3 comes to this, then it will forms fructose 6-phosphate, and that remaining part will be converted to erythrose 4-phosphate. Now erythrose is 4 carbon atom. Okay, whereas fructose 6-phosphate is 6 carbon atom. This fructose 6-phosphate further it further goes in glycolysis process. Okay, enters into the glycolysis process. After this final step, this is a step 6, transaldolase. Now step 7 is again transketolase. There are 2 transketolase or transketolization steps. Okay, step 5 and step 7. In step 7 again transketolase enzyme will be present. Here also again what will happen, xylulose, from xylulose 5-phosphate, again xylulose 5-phosphate will come here. From xylulose 5-phosphate, I have not written structure here. From xylulose 5-phosphate again 2 carbon moiety will be transferred to erythrose 4-phosphate. 2 carbon moiety will transfer to erythrose 4-phosphate to form fructose 6-phosphate. 4 plus 2, 6. Okay, and remaining 3 will be get converted to glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. Okay, this is the final step of HMP pathway. Fructose 6-phosphate and glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate will form, and these 2 will again enter into glycolysis. Okay, and these all things I have explained in this written form. While writing your notes, what you have to do, first you have to write the notes, then step by step cycle you have to write, so easily you can understand. Okay, now coming to the significance of HMP shunt. What are the significance of HMP shunt? As you know, it generates 2 products, NADPH and pentose sugar. Okay, that is most important. Now ribose 5-phosphate useful for the synthesis of nucleic acid like RNA, DNA, and many nucleotides such as ATP, NAD plus FAD and coenzyme E. Okay. Now NADPH required for the biosynthesis of fatty acid. This is also important. NADPH produced in the HMP is also required for the biosynthesis of fatty acid and steroids. Hence, HMP shunt more active in tissue concerned with the lipogenesis. Example, adipose tissue and liver. NADPH used in the synthesis of certain amino acid involving the enzyme glutamate dehydrogenase. So it is also involved in the synthesis of amino acids. NADPH involved in the antioxidant reaction. Okay, many cells produce H2O2, hydrogen peroxide, which is harmful to the cell, which will be converted into reduced form by glutathione mediated reduction of H2O2. Now this glutathione mediated reduction of H2O2 is carried out through the NADPH. Next, NADPH also involves in the detoxification of drugs by microsomal cytochrome P450 enzyme. NADPH also involved in the detoxification of drugs. Now, detoxification of drugs is carried out through many reactions in our body. In that, microsomal cytochrome P450 system is very important. That also requires the NADPH. Now, phagocytosis, engulfment of foreign particle by the WBC is called as phagocytosis. It also requires NADPH. Now, NADPH in high concentration in lens of eye is necessary to preserve the transparency of lens. So, in high concentration in lens of eye, it is also required NADPH. NADPH also required to preserve the integrity of RBC membrane. NADPH is also required to preserve the integrity of RBC membrane. Now in HMP, few molecules of glycolytic pathway produce. Earlier we seen glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, fructose 6-phosphate. These are directly involved in the glycolysis, which further produces energy. Okay, whatever intermediates will form, glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate or fructose 6-phosphate, again they enter to glycolysis and they will further produces the energy. So these are the significance of the HMP pathway. You will get question about 5 marks on significance or 2 marks, or sometimes for 10 marks full entire HMP pathway cycle along with its significance. Okay, now coming to one more point is there in this that is glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase deficiency. Okay, what will happen to glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase deficiency when in this first step glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase enzyme is there? If that enzyme is deficient will be there, then what will be happen? That condition is called as hemolytic anemia. Already I have written here. If I will not explain this, but you go through it. If you have any doubt, please ask me. Okay, then I will explain to you. Now in next class we will see the glycogen metabolism. So today, after this, I have explained HMP pathway. In next class we will discuss about the glycogen metabolism. Okay, thank you all. Thank you.